What's up, YouTube? It's your main man, AB the Hero, back again with another video. We live right now. I'm gonna make sure we officially live. All right, y'all not gonna believe this is a struggle stream to that if I ever had one, bro. I had this stream set for 9:40, okay, and so I literally have been live talking, but I never hit go live on the stream. So for the last 20 minutes, I've been doing the video and folks been in the chat a little bit. So I'm like, damn, okay, people in the chat. I'm looking at the viewers, you know what I mean, not doing whatever. But then I'm like, I look up and I realize I literally been talking to myself for the last 20 minutes or whatever. But all right, let's get into this video though. It's that kind of morning, man. So I appreciate everybody who tapping in right now. Let me know where you from or where you at on this video. What I want to do, and the reason why I did this live, and the reason why I kind of wanted to have this conversation is I wanted you all to add some names to this thing that I want to talk about today. And obviously, the precipice of this conversation is that Mitch Kupchak video that he did a minute ago with and he was talking about Gordon Hayward being the best player on that team. But there was another video from a creator, my man Amax, and he talked about Gordon Hayward and showed some stuff, and it made me go, wait a minute, hold up, let me think about some stuff. And with that, I was like, yo, let me do this video. All right, so let's get into it.
AB the Hero, back at it, baby.
So first off, appreciate everybody who in here right now. If you in here, slam the like button for the boy, man. It's always appreciated. Let's just get straight into it. So like I said, this clip that I want to watch is from Amax, a dope creator, a guy who I really appreciate the style of video that he brings, right? I think that there's something that he does interesting with the titles and the thumbnails that brings you into the video. And it's not quite what you expect initially, but you're in there and it's like, damn, this is actually really, really good. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to him. If you're not subbed to his channel or don't check his content out, make sure y'all go pull up, man. Like I said, Amax, go check him out. All right. But let's listen to this. And then there's a point in here where he says something that I'm like, wait a minute. This just unlocked a whole different way of thinking for me. So let's go.
Roll the dice on LaMelo right now. No questions asked. But as I was saying, Mitch Kupchak saying that Gordon Hayward is the best player? He's been the best player for the last 2 years? They got to have him back so they can advance? I disagree. LaMelo is the best player. And y'all know when it comes to me, stats matter, but definitely game film does too. If you watch both of these guys play, take Gordon at his best when he's been in the NBA, right? When he had that one All-Star year, and taking LaMelo in his first 2 years. LaMelo's better. He's faster, clearly a better ball handler, better scorer, better rebounder, better assist man. That ain't even close. And yes, I know LaMelo has a small sample size, and he's outpacing Gordon Hayward in those stats. But even if you look at the game film, you're like, yeah, this dude here is better than this dude here. It doesn't take a lot to know what you're looking at if you understand anything about basketball. As I was saying, LaMelo is a better free throw shooter, and it comes to advanced stats.
All right, so I saw that, and obviously, like everybody in here watching this video right now, everybody who already slammed the like and all of that, we already know that LaMelo is the guy. The conversation between who is the best, Mitch Kupchak was, you know what I'm saying, he had to be. I pray and I believe that was some intentional stuff. He just, you know what I mean, trying to keep the value there. They got to bet they need to make the move, and they don't want to make it seem like he not the dude when he should be considered as a, or needs to be considered as a dude to get cash back. Okay, but what really baffled me about this video, and not baffled, but made me interested, mind-blowing, shocking to me, was when we really got to look at Gordon Hayward's career statistics. And I really started thinking to myself, the Hornets gave this man $30 million a year here. 29.9. $30 million a year. And that's what the statistics look like? that is where we at with that. That's the ideal of, like, you can literally say, yo, Gordon is better than LaMelo, and statistically in his best year gave you 21 points, 3 assists, and 5 rebounds in his best year. And what I don't think I realized, because in my head, right, I'm thinking of Gordon Hayward as a scorer, right? At least giving you 20 points a night on the regular. That's what I think of when I think of Gordon Hayward. But that's never happened in his career except for one time. In the season before, the Hornets gave him the bag for $30 million, which a lot of people feel like they overpaid for. He was giving you 17 points a night at 4 assists and 6 boards. They gave the man $30 million for 17 points a night, okay? When I see that, I think about, if I want to get into my conspiracy theory bag, right? It says something of why, wait a minute, LaMelo, you're scoring a lot of points, you're putting up a lot of stats, all-star and all of this stuff. We trying not to. If I wanted to get into my conspiracy bag, it all makes sense. If we paying Gordon $30 million for 17 points, and we got our young buck up here, this is rookie season here, all right, and we got our young buck right now in year 2 giving us 19. We finna have to drop the bag. So, if I was in my conspiracy bag, I would say that makes sense why you might want to stifle a little bit of growth. Like, hold up, man, wait, we're trying to figure things out. Now, another big part of that made me go, huh. This also says something about the situation going on with my guy, Miles Bridges, all right? So we know that Miles Bridges was hoping to get the bag. Miles Emmanuel Bridges was hoping to sign a big deal with this Hornets team, right? And in the offseason, they said, bruh, come on, man. We can't even do that. We don't really got the bread for you like that, bro. And you look at it, in last season, Miles was giving them 12 points a game. And he wanted, I believe, like 80 million or something like that. And they were like, come on, man. Yeah. And so he said, you know what? I'm betting on myself. Miles Bridges decides to bet on himself and now is at 19.9 points a game, right? 19.9 points a game. We go back here and we look at your man, Gordon Hayward. Gordon last year, in probably one of his best year with the Hornets, was giving you 19.9. So statistically, Miles Bridges has already surpassed him. And so if we go back to this here and we think about in 2019, when Gordon was giving the Celtics 17 points a game, they gave him 30 million. And we looking at what Miles doing right now. Miles been to get the bag. That to me is interesting concept to think of, right? This guy here, who is determined by the GM of the team to be our best player, is statistically, all right, 16 points a game, 19 points a game. And here's something that I will acknowledge, right? And this also is something that I had to go look up because I thought it was interesting. Last year, not this season, but the season prior, we're looking at, this is LaMelo's rookie season, Jokic's MVP season, Bucks win the championship, all of that stuff. This is the points per game, like rankings. At 32, you have Steph Curry, right? That's a lot of points. That's a scorer, right? You in the NBA, you putting up 30 points, you're doing the damn thing, all right? But now, if we start to scroll down here, we'll find Gordon here in a second, but I want to get to LaMelo here, all right? So now we've got LaMelo here at 53 points. I'm sorry, at number 53 with 15 points a game. All right. And so I think what this whole conversation puts into perspective for me is how how talented you have to be in this league to score at least even 15 points a game, right? Because for us, we hear 53 and you're like, man, that's all right. It ain't like a game changer or nothing, right? However, if you think about it through the context of like 30 teams in the NBA, each team has 5 starters. If you're a starter in the NBA, most of the time we expect you to be receiving the bag on the other end of that. And so 5 starters times 30 teams, that's about 150. So if you are if you at number 50, 53 at top scores in the league, that means you're better than 100 other NBA starters. You score more points than them, right? And there's 400 plus, so 50 out of 400 plus, that's a damn good situation, right? So if we look at, I'm gonna see, is Gordon even, he must not have scored enough points to rank, but he should be on here, or am I just not seeing him? Yeah, so so they don't even have him on this ranking here, and I'm sure it's due because there's probably like a threshold of how many actually points you or games you had to play to have counted or something, and maybe because he was hella injury prone last season, they're not giving him he's not in this ranking here, but he should be ahead of LaMelo. So it's just interesting. So I give credit to that, right? That also to me adds some credence to when we scroll down here a little bit longer, and we see Lonzo Ball at 62. You know what I mean? That's not as bad as most folks would have you believe. All right, and then we scroll down here. Let's see, we have Miles Bridges at 90. Still, for coming off the bench, 150 starters. That's not bad. You know what I mean? So I think that bit of kind of research led me to think about some other stuff, right? It really reminded me of many moons ago, I was looking at Scottie Pippen, right? His statistics. And I remember being shocked that this Hall of Famer, this 6-time champion, this guy who a lot of us like revere as one of the best in the best duo ever in the NBA, top 75 players. When we look at his like career stats, that man gave you 16 points a game over a career. And I'm like, damn, Scottie, I'm tripping. I thought Scottie was a 20 plus point scorer a night. Like, how we get him at 16 points a game? And it to me, I was like, damn, who else is in this, right? So this is where I would like, if y'all can in the chat, and I'm gonna go through this at the end of this and read what everybody put in the chat here. So definitely feel free to share your comments and all of that stuff. I'm just trying to get through a lot of this information that I wanted to talk about. And then so I looked at Scottie, I'm like, damn, 16 points a game. And it makes sense, right? There's a few games, this seasons in there where he was with the Bulls and he was that guy. And damn, man, he wasn't an all-star that one year Jordan was gone. Right? Is this the year Jordan was out? That's interesting. Oh no, that's the final season. Damn, he won. That's crazy. Oh, I see. He only played 44 games. All right. So, but we see it's a couple 20-point years in here. But for the most part, Scottie Pippen, who is the second best player on one of the greatest teams ever, was not even a 20-point scorer. And I just don't think that I had realized that, right? And obviously, I know that scoring has gone up recently in the league, and people are scoring at a higher clip. But I thought, damn, Scottie is better than that, right? And then I go to a guy like Jason Kidd, who we all think is like the premier point guard, you know what I'm saying? And we see him at 12 points a game for a career, 8 assists, 6 rebounds. And you look at this here, and he had a super long NBA career, but never really got to that 20 points a night situation, right? The assists were always activated for him. Well, damn, even his last couple of years, he was down bad. His assists wasn't even what they used to be. But I guess not terrible. 8, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9. Yeah. So he was still doing his thing, but as a scorer, right? I looked at somebody else here, Jason Williams, and the reason why I feel like I went from the Jason Kidd, Jason Williams category is these guys who remind me of LaMelo, right? I think that don't know when y'all start. I think that this reminds me of LaMelo, in the sense of flashy passers and all of that jazz. I think it's pretty. So I wanted to look him up. Right, as guys who I feel like we know he shoot a three ball, score a bit, and get people involved, and as the highlight reel. But statistically, even him not even like amazing as far as the point totals go. John Stockton, Hall of Famer, point guard, ton of assists, 13 points a game. Similar situation, right? Never really cracked a 20-point a night scoring. And so the reason why I went with those guys first is because I feel like when people talk about LaMelo, they talk about him. Um, um, when I hear people talk about LaMelo, I feel like they talk about him through the aspects of him being a great passer, getting people involved. You want to come play with him because he's going to share the ball. So I wanted to go with these pass first guys to see the comparison because they're heavy on the assists, and you would assume that, like in today's NBA, they would give you those points too. But here's a guy who I feel like when it's all said and done, I think that LaMelo's obviously size wise, it's not even a comparison, but I think game and style, right? Somebody who's going to score a ton of points, give you a decent amount of assists, and do it with some flair and excitement. I feel like Melo is kind of in this range with an Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson, who gave you 26 points a night for a career average, came into the league just lighting it up and scoring and assisting, right? And it's so here's the blessing of that time though. My man played in 76 games, started 74 as a rookie. And I think that if LaMelo would have had that same entrance into the league, his first season totals would be probably closer to this. Even in this season, if there wasn't, it seems like so much turmoil, probably would be closer to this as well. All right. So we look and you see Iverson, man, has some great years in the NBA. Damn near an all-star for a better part of his career every year, 30 points a night, 30 towards 30. Then even down here, the man was so ingrained in the culture here that he's an all-star as a 13-point scorer, and what is that, 4 assists a night. So that's why I brought him up. Now look at another Hall of Famer point guard here, Isaiah Thomas, 20 points a night, 19 assists. And so I think it's interesting because you could look at, damn, Isaiah Thomas was an all-star from year one, damn near to almost his last year. I think for the most part, right, you would look at what I'm talking about and you might say, oh man, you might say, oh, but what's happening here is different because they didn't score as many points back in that time, right? So yeah, they got more assists, but the points are crazy. And you go to look at a guy like Isaiah Thomas, who is like, to me, yeah, obviously not even just to me, top 75 and all anniversary team, 17 points as a rookie, 20, basically 20-point score. Obviously, yeah, 19 there, but and then also crazy numbers, 13 assists a night. That's wild. 10 assists, 8. So I don't know. I look at that and it shows the biggest difference between a guy who Mitch Kupchak loves and most of us felt like, yeah, he's a pretty good player. A guy who they paid $30 million for, and a dude who like is just an Hall of Famer, All Star. Russell Westbrook, 22 points a night, 7 boards, 8 assists. He signed a huge bag. It's just crazy, and I guess the point I'm trying to make, man, is that we put so much stock into how much points somebody is scoring, but the bag, in order to secure the bag or can be compared or considered an elite scorer in the NBA, seems the bar seems to be much lower than what a lot of us as fans, you know what I'm saying, determine it to be. But let me do this, man. Let me go through here and look at some of these comments and see what y'all got going here. And I apologize too, because I know the first couple comments I literally I thought y'all I was talking for like 20 minutes straight and I had not even pushed the live button. So some of this was going on. I thought that y'all were commenting from the video and really y'all just was yeah. The GOAT himself, man. Appreciate that. LaMelo will be better in the future than Hayward, but before Hayward injury, Hayward was better, period. No, going forward, Melo will be for sure to say he's better in his first 2 years than Hayward ever. And that's what I'm saying, right? I think that it really depends on how you look at it, right? So if you go off statistics alone, right, which most NBA fans do, most NBA fans are hype on the stats, right? In every argument that people have when it comes to, and I should have had this up all the time. In every argument that people typically have about NBA players and who's doing better, they bring up stats. So if it's a statistical argument, then Melo Ball is better than Gordon Hayward based off statistics. If you're trying to tell me that Gordon Hayward is possibly better than LaMelo because experience and quantifiable stuff and intangibles and things that we can't see as fans, but it's in Gordon's head, and he just got to execute it on the court, and he also got to be available, but he injured. To me, I don't know, right? To me, that's like saying the Knicks, right? The Knicks got Derrick Rose on their team. And the Knicks are saying, we got the best player in the NBA. The only issue is that he had a knee injury 10 years ago and ain't really ever came back to being the same guy, right? So to say like Gordon Hayward is our best player, but he just don't play for us because he hurt, to me is a weird take. Not a weird take, but you know what I mean? It's an interesting thing to frame it as, right? The Lakers can say, damn, we would be really good if we had Anthony Davis, but Anthony Davis is not playing, so we're really bad. So, you know what I mean? Imagine LaMelo numbers if they actually opened up the franchise for Melo like Trey and Luka. Exactly. When you look at these numbers, and here's where I do give credence to this idea that there's more than just statistics, because if you are following the LaMelo Ball story as it was happening, and you understand the context that was going on with him in his rookie season and coming off the bench and all of that stuff, it says a little bit more, right? So you could watch at times and see him play. And we all said, well, he should be the starting point guard. Should be the starting point guard. He was coming off the bench. So if you just look at statistics, you say to yourself, man, but he only giving you this amount. But the context matters. So I think that that's the grace that I give to the argument of when people really, if you really think that maybe Gordon Hayward is in that conversation as far as the best player on that team, I just think that it would be hard for folks to convince me that Gordon Hayward is better than Miles Bridges in this season, right? So maybe last season, yes, but Miles Bridges in this season, to me, is playing better than Gordon Hayward has. LaMelo will be all right. LaMelo is the best player on the Charlotte Hornets. Slap. Never was Gordon better than LaMelo. Gordon doesn't show up versus top teams ever. LaMelo giving you 19 on 42% field goal percentage. That's not good. I don't believe that. 19 on 42% for a guard, and especially when you consider that the majority of his shots, or not the majority, but he shoots a high percentage from behind the arc, right? So you got guys like Montrez and Mason Plumlee who have extremely high field goal percentages, but those field goal percentages are based on the fact that they're dunking the ball the majority of the time, right? It's a harder shot, a less probable shot to make when you're shooting it from behind the arc, and that factors into your you know what I'm saying, your field goal percentage, right? This is why people use this stuff like true shooting percentage, where it factors in the difficulty of taking certain shots. Gordon was a beast in Utah. Then he went to the Celtics and got injured and didn't fit with team. And then in the Hornets and now with injured, he's no longer the beast. And you know what? And that's true, right? I think that part of the reason why the Hornets gave him that big of a deal is oftentimes, right, folks think, oh, it's gonna be better on this side, right? So you're only struggling over there because you know, you don't fit in with the team, the narrative around the whole situation, right? So you come over here with us and we're gonna give you the keys and you're gonna be able to hoop and you can go back to your old self, right? And it's just a harsh reality that at times you don't make it back to said old self, right? And I think that that's what is happening with Gordon, right? These injuries keep piling up and they're stifling him from getting back to Gordon of old, which is why I think that the play for him long term is probably going to be trying to get to the Pacers. The people who claim something's a conspiracy just afraid of the truth. Bum, bum, bum. The suits just trying to defend their terrible decisions. That's a fact of Mundo. I can see that being the thing. Hayward always injured. I wish Melo would have leave Hornets so y'all Melo fans would shut up and stop crying about Coach or Jordan. Y'all still crying saying NBA against the ball. Blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing, right? It's so funny to me when people like look at any fan base across the NBA, right? Or any fan base across, people say the same thing about LeBron. LeBron fans, right? The Cowboys fans, the Knicks fans, the such and such fans, the such and such fans, right? It's this ideal that like there's a contingency of Hornets fans who wanted to see Kemba Walker make his comeback, right? There's a contingency of Hornets fans who was like, hell no, get Kemba up out of here, right? There is, anytime you have a player, a team, a franchise, you're going to have fans who like what's happening here and don't like what's happening here, right? And I think what's so funny is that there's this division between, like, I guess Melo fans and Hornets fans where ultimately everybody wants the same thing. If you watch Hornets basketball over the last 20 games and you like, damn, I'm seeing some good stuff. I'm doing this, they hooping, then you're tripping, right? If you watched if you didn't even know the guys on the team and you just looked at the box score and you looked at the roster and you saw how many games that they were losing, the first thing that you would say without any other context is, damn, the coaches gotta, is it the players or the coaches? Is it the team or what it is? So the ideal that if you're a Melo fan, you're questioning the coaching or the rotation or whatever is solely because you're a fan of Melo, to me is crazy, right? I think that when there's this, when if they were winning, right, and LaMelo wasn't getting as many minutes or whatever, and people were complaining, that would be one thing. But I don't know. To me, that's a. I feel like I hear a lot of people make that excuse or try to pin things on, oh man, the fans are ridiculous when you're giving a pass to these different coaches, right? It's the same shit that happened in Los Angeles with Luke Walton, right? Where people are like, oh man, the ball fans is on Luke Walton's head, and then all of a sudden Luke Walton is fired. Or he leaves and then gets up out of there because he's about to be fired because people don't like the way that he coaching. Or then he goes to Sacramento and then gets fired from Sacramento. Vlade Divac, who says the same thing that we just said that happened with Gordon in Boston, says, you know what, Luke, you really, it's just in a bad situation over there. You're a great coach. Come to Sacramento and then be a good coach here. And then Vlade Divac got fired because he brought Luke Walton in. And then Luke Walton got fired, right? There is you just heard Mitch Kupchak said in the video not too long ago, and he says, oftentimes the media in the circus around sports will give you an indication on what's happening, right? And he said, and the thing is that you hope that your own team isn't the one who you start to find out information about. And I think that that's what's happening. And there's certain people who like just, you know what I mean, it's oblivious to it, but it is what it is. I hope Miles Bridges follow whatever team Melo goes to. That would be dope. And Melo fans are ridiculous. I heard someone say that Melo better than Ja and Luka and Young right now. I don't know. I think that young core of the NBA to me is exciting because it'll be something special to watch for years and years to come. And it just reloaded up on me, man. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out where I was at. All right, hopefully my all right, no. It's insult insinuating to compare what's his name to Melo worse than saying Clyde Drexler is more valuable than Michael Jordan. Ha, that's a fact. If Melo leaves, nobody will talk about Hornets again. They will be forgotten. Hey, shout out to Green Eggs Dan for subbing to the channel, man. Much appreciated. So many empty seats. Uh, just Rozier hogging the ball and Plumlee falling all over himself sounds like a must-watch TV. 17 likes in 17 minutes. Come on, man. We need to get more likes up. Where are we at right now? 26. I appreciate it. All right. Let's see. Who cares where he goes? We finna be right there supporting facts. I think that's truthfully what you want, man. I think Melo going to stay, in my opinion, is going to sign a super max. I think I don't know. Here's my probably my I don't even need these. Here's my like I don't know, like what's the word I'm looking for? Weakness, fault, whatever it is. I don't know. I am the type of guy who I'm not on the fire Borrego bandwagon. He gotta get up out of here. Get such and such out of here. I'm of the thing of like you gotta develop people. You got to put people in positions to win, right? You got to give people opportunities to grow and then be woo, 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 woo. So when you got a coach like a James Borrego, who I think has a basketball mind and makes some sense, I don't think that you just like get rid of folks. I think that you somehow have to do something to help them grow and build in that circumstance. So, but I think about that across the board, right? That's why like I don't know, right? I'm not the one who is going to come on and be like, "Yo, don't watch such and such," because they said because I know that people grow over time. James Borrego in 5 years could be damn near Phil Jackson of coaching, right? Because somebody could pour the right thing into him. LaMelo Ball in 5 years could be in the realm of fucking. I'm sorry, I need to stop. I'm be trying to stop cussing a little bit, but could be in the realm of a Michael Jordan conversation because Giannis Antetokounmpo from 1 year to year 6, completely different people. So for me, I see the opportunity of growth that people have. So oftentimes my like what's the word I'm looking for? Like weakness, downfall, such and such, I can't think of it. Is that I always rather see people change what's wrong than just dip on what's wrong, right? Now, there are times where I have made the choice to get up out of some situations. I'm definitely on board with that as well. But I'd rather like you know what I'm saying? Instead of just going to get a divorce, how do we figure this out? How do we listen to each other? How do we do such and such? And that's my shit. So when it comes to the Borrego conversation, I think like, yo, I want to see him get woo woo. When it comes to the Mason Plumlee thing, I think Mason Plumlee is a hooper. I don't want to see Mason get up out of there. I want to see Mason evolve into this role that's best suited for him and that adds more value to the team. The Miles Bridges, the whole thing, all of that stuff. Shout out to Nico Savage in the building, cooking early. Meanwhile, I'm still tired. Appreciate you, man, for coming through, man. Always a strong, you know what I'm saying, voice in the community and supporter of the channel, man. So it's all up. So so that's where that is with me. Let me see where I was. Let me see. Gordon was a B. So I say all that to say, like, that's I hope that they figure things out and LaMelo can stay and then ride that Hornets wave until he's like ready to do it. But I hate for him to leave. I hate for him to leave because he feels mistreated, right? I'd rather for him to get up out of there because he wants to go to a team that is a specific team or go play with some specific players or a specific opportunity, I hate for him to feel like, yo, they're not treating me right, so I'm dipping, right? I would rather the coaching staff, the general manager, and all of them to hear that and then be able to make adjustments as opposed to, you know what I mean, being stubborn and then forcing him out. We're not happy to watch Hornets. We're here to AB Pippen was a tiger. Physically, he could jump out the gym. He had 3-level scoring and could run the point. Defensively, Pippen locked in and hunted the opponent. Facts. Pippen was a dog, a tiger as you put it. Melo would rather be in Cali. He's gone as soon as the clock runs out. Straight up. That's what I'm saying. I'd rather him do that. Points today and stats are overblown. It's so easy. More possessions, more rebounds, more threes, no defense, no hand check. You can't compare stats. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you would think that, bro. You look at Isaiah Thomas and statistically he was on to something. You look at moments where Michael Jordan was scoring 60-something points a game. He was on to something. Like, folks were scoring at a high clip at that time. It's just like overall, people weren't doing it. They didn't shoot a three as much. They didn't do such and such. And also, like, I think you have to compare the stats because it's the same thing. It's like evolution. It's people realize, yo, if we play faster, we get more shot attempts. We do such and such. It's the ideal of like, if you're playing one of them pop-up shot things, right? And you just slow shooting it here and you whoop whoop, and then folks realize that we can make more shots even if we don't like use the same form as your shoot, and you just start doing this, and then now all of a sudden you go from making 30-point shots to 35 just simply because your shooting percentage is ass and you done took a dive there, but you actually got up more shots, right? That's the evolution of it. To me, that says something about the game, right? I think even with the hand checking and all of that stuff, I feel like, and here's a take that I think that people, I'm interested to hear y'all thoughts on. Here's my take. I think that people make it seem like back in the day it was harder to be an offensive player because folks could hand check you and their fouls were harder and all of this stuff. And I think that it's on the other end. I think that they made it easier for you to play defense because you can hand check and you could do all of that stuff, right? So I think that offensively, people still figured out ways to get off and stuff, but defensively, it's harder right now. If you're a guy who right now in today's league is a defensive stopper, you would shut everything down back in the 80s, right? It would be easier for a guy like a LeBron James to be defensive player of the year and offensive player of the year in the 80s than it would be for him to do that now, right? Because on the defensive end in today's NBA, you have to work so much. You got to be able to slide your feet. You got to be physical, athletic, and all of that stuff, and you can't foul out. We watched a game just a couple days ago where LaMelo got 3 fouls in the first quarter. That's how much they calling it, right? Whereas you put Melo 20 years ago and they don't call none of those fouls. That's what I'm saying. To me, that's a take. Those Puma MB1s in the back are fire, bro. But yeah, Melo controls the game in so many ways. Oh man, I'm gonna show y'all. So I got these. I also have the other pair that's downstairs, and I got the Euro pair on the way. So like the black and red ones that LaMelo wears sometimes, you can't get those right now in the United States, but I think I might have found the source, and so I got those. So I'm gonna do my own Rick and Morty's and go black and blue. Let's see. Young people shouldn't critique historical players until they study history. Most point guards average around 14 points a game. That's what I'm saying. I think that that's the point I'm trying to make, is that in today's Like NBA, I hear people be like, 14 points, that's a bust. 14 points, you can't score, you trash. And then you go through and you look at the historical context of basketball, and 14 points at certain points in this league would have got you into the Hall of Fame. It would have made you a top 75 overall NBA player. Iverson was more of a scorer. Melo was more of a passer with an amazing 3-point range. And so this is the thing. What I'm saying is, like, I think the box that people put Melo in is more of a passer, or more of a passer. But I think that LaMelo would love to be considered as more of a scorer. So you go back to high school and you look at the man scoring 92 points in the game. So if you were a high schooler or damn near scoring 100 points, but people are like, but you a pass first guy. All of that stuff don't always add up. It's a scoring beast. Bro, Mitch has to guard his investment. He paid Hayward, paid JB, now he's having to keep the smoke up. Nah, that's a fact. That's what I'm saying. I think that that's what it is. And here's what I say this all of the time. If you are intentionally doing that, right? So if Mitch Kupchak comes out with the intentions of saying that because he understands the implications of saying of what he's saying, right? He understands that by him saying, yo, we watch Gordon in practice and he's the best player on the team. We watch Gordon when he's healthy and he's the best player. We wouldn't even without him. If he understands that what I'm doing is creating value for that, I'm not going to fault him. I'm not going to get on here and be like, oh, I can't believe you said that. Because I believe you said it. That's smart. Say what you got to say. You know what I mean? If he's oblivious to that and truly believes that in his heart, I'm also not going to, because you know what I mean, you believe what you want to believe. But to me, it's a different situation, right? It's crazy at that point. You evaluated per 36. Did I do that? No, was that per 36? I don't think so. Gordon is. Let's do this. All right. Here is. Let's look at this, right? I think here we can do per 36. And I think, right, this should give us some more context. So, yeah. So this season per 36, Melo's per 36 numbers is just absolutely ridiculous in general, right? Let's go back. What that looked like from last year. So I mean, similar, right? Per 36 is not even close. Even LaMelo is would be considered a better player, even by last year's standards when you go per 36. Book is better than Gordon. Like Book night. Here's what I'm saying. Let me say this, and this is probably a hot take. I think that James Book night probably is a hooper, right? And I think that he's somebody who's going to develop into a solid player over time on this team. I also think that there's too much hype around that situation. And I understand that folks would be like, well, would you just like LaMelo, man, for you saying that? But I think that there are moments this season where they put Book night in there and they was like, all right, Book, cook. And I don't think that he lived up to the opportunity. I think that you even saw that when he went down to the G League a couple times and had some good games or whatever. But I don't think I saw something from him in actual gameplay where I was like, hey, he need 20 minutes a night right now. He's that guy. I don't think I saw that. And that might be a hot take. And I think that if you go watch him at practice, you go put him in the gym over at the YMCA, you go put him in the G League, you go put him in most places, I think that he would dominate. I think that you would see him and be like, yo, that's an NBA player. He got it. He needed. But I think that this ideal of like, yo, he was ready to go right now. He's supposed to be in the lineup and such. I personally don't see that, right? I don't see the ideal of now bringing in IT to play over him and all that stuff. I don't know about all that. It's kind of whack. I think that James Bouknight deserves to play if you're in this mode where you like, we're really trying to develop him right now. We want him to get better right now. I think the best way to get better right now is playing, but I think that the way that folks talk to me about James Bouknight is like, yo, wait till he play, finna get in the game and it's finna be up and it's stuck. And I don't see that right now, right? And I compare that to last year when Devontae Graham got injured. And Devontae Graham got injured, and I got on here and I made a video. Oh, it's over. LaMelo is never coming off the bench again. And LaMelo got in the game and never came off the bench again. They gave him his shot, huh? Here go your shot, bro. You starting for the first time, and he never relinquished it. To me, that's what I think is like. That's what I felt like people approached James Bouknight with that conversation, and I don't know if he's there. But you know what I'm saying? That's my hot take. Him and LiAngelo would be the next superstar duo. I love to see it. When did average 20 points as a small forward make you a beast? But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that a lot of us think that 20 points is the threshold to like, yo, you're a guy who we look at as a scorer, right? If you get to 20 points, yo, you are straight. You're elite. And I don't think that that's the case in most NBA circles. I think that if you get to be a 15 to 16 point a night guy, people look at you like as a scorer, as a utility dude. It's a role player dude. But if you're a 20 point a night guy, then you start to be in all-star conversation, not just like, yo, you are an elite scorer, you know what I'm saying? And I think that that's a disconnect or a mix-up between like fans and like the actual basketball, you know what I mean, players, organizations, and all that stuff. Not a real question. It's LaMelo Ball, but the question should be is NBA holding LaMelo and Jello back due to outspoken father. I don't know, man. I don't think it's that. I truthfully believe that from what I saw, the NBA is on board with LaMelo Ball and Lonzo Ball and Jello and all of them. The NBA as a whole organization to me feels like they understand it, right? I remember, and this is I remember many more when the All-Star shit was going on, right? And I knew that LaMelo was gonna be an All-Star, right? I said that. We did the one video where I posted a thing where the leak was going on, and then he didn't he wasn't initially a reserve, and and most folks knew KD wasn't gonna play, and then they even tried to play it up. Oh, they needed big, they finna go get Jared Allen and all of this stuff. And most people assume right away that the replacement was going to be Melo Ball, right? And so I was texting your man LeVar, and I said, "Oh man, damn, that's crazy what they doing." He's like, "Man, you think that they not gonna do whatever it take to get that boy at the All-Star game?" And he got in, right? And so I think that that's the NBA level of it. He gonna get in. We gonna get the dude in. You know what I'm saying? We ain't crazy. I think that where the disconnect seems to be is on the local level. I think the overall machine keeps pushing him. You see him in the 75 commercial. Anytime there's some big shit going on, they had graphics and flyers and stuff going around Cleveland with LaMelo Ball's picture on them. Like, they understand even the fact that he went to high school in Ohio. There's more reason that the NBA is behind him in that certain circumstance. So I think it's not the NBA so much as more as there's a contingent effort between this franchise for some reason to really control his growth. Gordon's not even close. Hayward was a beast in Utah, but after that, okay, we all right. Cleveland accepted LeBron fans because LeBron is that dude. A lot of Hornets fans are ungrateful and think losing basketball is normal. Facts. That's a fact. I can see that, right? There's a lot of people who are content. Don't shake it up. Don't don't stir the boat up. We don't need to. We're a little bit better, so we're good with that, right? I can see that being the thing, as opposed to the Cleveland fans. Shit, even if you go back, right, there's those clips of players on that team being like, well, let's kill LeBron, man. He all right, but we don't really need him like that. We doing good on our own. And then he got there, and then the fans showed up and showed out. I do think that I think that there's more from the games that I went to, and I haven't went to a game in Charlotte yet, but I went to a game here in Indiana. I went to the Bulls game. I've watched a ton of games on TV, and I think that there is a larger contingent of Hornets fans who really rock with LaMelo than there is the Hornets fans who really like, we don't even need him. We're Hornets. We're going to be here. You know what I'm saying? We love Borrego. I think that even if you start to look at the articles in the media and all of that stuff, that they're beginning to question what's happening with the organization. And I think sometimes if you're like, it makes sense, right? Sometimes you could be too close to something. And so if you've been super close and you're intimate with the Hornets for a couple years, right? It's hard to see that you're in a toxic relationship, right? Because you start to sell yourself. Oh, but that's how we talk. That's how he let me know he loved me, man. Because he email you is it to be printed? What? Oh shit, I do not. So you know what I mean? Like that I feel like that's the interesting part, right? Is you could be so close to it and then just be getting abused year in and year out, struggling, don't make the playoffs, no nothing. And then you know what I'm saying, every now and again you get you a cheeseburger and you like, oh, he got me this cheeseburger. He do love me. And meanwhile, all of the relationships around you, they going Valentine's Day pop up, they getting flowers. All the relationships around you. Oh, we going to steak dinners. Oh, he just bought me a bag. Oh, he treated me so nice. He went and introduced me to his mom. And you a Hornets fan, and you like, oh, we ain't met his parents yet because he don't really let people around. Like, and so you just get used to being mistreated. You get used to being abused, and then all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? You get somebody come in your life and start treating you better, and you don't know how to act, right? Because you don't understand that people tapping in and watching you play is what happens with all of these other teams, right? That's what good fans is, right? People who care, people who want to see you win, that's what good fandom is, right? And so you be like, but wait a minute, man, we ain't used to that. You know what I'm saying? All right, my man God of Blackness jumped in here with a super chat, man. I appreciate it. Always showing love. Always showing love. Is there a message on it or not? Yeah. How about those new version of the Rick and Morty's? Those are fire. Those are fire. We saw LaMelo wearing them. Those seem like they're custom joints. I think I saw a picture of them up close, and it seemed like the space part is painted on. So I wouldn't be surprised if those were made custom for him. You know what I'm saying? So where somebody took the regular Rick and Morty and painted the space onto him. That's what it looked like from what I saw. But I think that's what this Hornets thing is, man. It's people not used to having in any other fan base. You look at the Lakers, you look at the 76ers, you look at the Knicks, all of the fan bases that people actually care about. The Sixers fans and the community damn near ran Ben Simmons out of town, right? That's how much they care. Danny Green missed the shot, and the Lakers fans was saying that he needed to go kill himself. That's how much they care, right? These are story franchises with such. The Boston Celtics fan base is wild, crazy, and rampant. They really care. And so the Hornets fan base right now, and I don't mean to diss y'all, you know what I'm saying? But hear me out because I want you to introspect on me on this. The Hornets fan base is not used to that because there's nothing to really care about on a long-term basis, right? The colorway is dope. You get you some Jordan grapes and you go rock it. And people care, but you look at all of these other fan bases, Miami Heat, the such and such, where people really be tapped in, and you think that Melo fans is toxic? Come on, man. It ain't even that crazy. Melo fans want Melo to play more consistent minutes. Want him to, if he's hot, to stay in the game. Don't pull him out when he just gave you 10 points in a row, and then now you pull him out. He just made the thing that people love about LaMelo is the flashiness that he passes with, and he just made a pass that somebody missed. Don't pull him out because he had one turnover. Don't bitch him for 4 quarters and then say, oh, but it was because you was in foul trouble. Like, those are simple requests. That's so easy. That's so easy when you think of a guy who is potentially your best player. That's not even toxic behavior. That's simple. Hey, James Borrego, your rotations are wild. We heard LaMelo say that. Your rotations are crazy, bro. And I think that's what I see with the Hornets. That's what that is. Juwan spitting. Who Juwan? Let me see. Hand checking is fouling. I don't know how hoopers even debate this. Defense is way harder now. Thank you, bro. That's what I said. I think that's really what it is. You got a scapegoat. You go watch them bad boy Pistons plays and you come through and pop you on the head. And then people be like, it was harder my day because they would just let somebody just knock your teeth out your mouth. That's all I need to do to play defense is elbow you. I ain't got to move my feet or nothing. I can stand right here in the lane. You come in, I just elbow you in your throat. And then you say, oh, I ain't going to go back there because he elbowing people. That ain't great defense. The Brooklyn game. Then you forgot the Brooklyn game. Nico Savage read, not YouTube. All right, I'm lost at where I'm at with my comments. Saying defense is better in 20. LaMelo is based. Someone says Giannis would come off the bench in the 80s and 90s, and that's why I said Thomas got to expose all the delusional folks. Facts. Hey, Ball Facts with the super chat. Ball Facts in the building. What's up, my guy? Oh, he ain't got a message on it. He just supporting the culture, man. Appreciate it, man. Always appreciate it. Gordon doesn't mesh well with the squad. Klay guards the best player on offense, 30 shot taker, and forces low percentage. That's shutting people down. Facts. And that's what I'm saying, right? If you think about a guy like that, right? Klay Thompson, that's true, like, defensive stopper, right? He's a guy who is not, he can't hand check you. He can't slap you. Nobody says, man, Klay Thompson, if he guarding you, bro, he going to be in your head with the elbows and the knees and all of that stuff. And nobody says that. People just say, yo, he played great defense. Then he go on the offensive end and shoot it at a high clip. When I think about the great defenders from way back in the day, like, all of them really feel like they rely on some of the rules that was happening right there with the hand check. And so, I don't know. That's just what that is. Respectfully, Danny Green was trash. That's what I'm saying. Danny Green was, and folks told Danny Green, yo, bro, go ahead and jump off a bridge. That's what Lakers fandom looks like. Hornets just got fans because of Melo. Let's be honest, their stadium never been full to now. Except for way back when they had Grandmama and them. Larry Johnson was holding it down. I'll keep saying Gordon more efficient. Big Mike with the super chat. Appreciate that, man. Blue fight, you know. Yeah, man. Who did Klay stop? Please tell me. I don't know. I can't name whoever who from the 80s or 90s could stop Kyrie. Bro, you cooking right now. Let me say this. If Kyrie was in the 80s, and you know how much people hated Jordan, they came up with the Jordan rules, right? Which meant like if he come, knock him over before he leave the ground. Like Jordan was so with the handles and whoop 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 and going to the basket that they got so upset they just started beating him up. You take Kyrie Irving and you put him in that situation, they might kill Kyrie. Kyrie they might get a sniper to shoot Kyrie. Steph, if they did that to Jordan, you put Kyrie in there and Steph and some of them handles and going to work on people and finishing around the rim, boy, they might, no telling, boy, it'd be World War 77 back there. Come on, man. Nico, all I'm saying is horrible defense in a three-point contest. It's just harder to play defense. AB, do a body language vid today. Straight up, man. I just need what on what. There was one I wanted to do on James Harden and Joel Embiid. I feel like there was a clip that I watched from them it was so interesting to see, but I don't know. It was from like their first night playing together. My friend from Ohio says he was born 10 minutes from North Carolina, so he can have an excuse to be a LaMelo fanboy. Bro, LaMelo is global. LaMelo is global. So you got an excuse because he damn near is from where you from. LaMelo has, think about it like this in the context of this, right? Here's why most people care about LaMelo so much, or you are allowed to, right? My man says he is from Ohio. LaMelo went to high school in Ohio, and he plays in North Carolina. He's born there. LaMelo, at 16 years old, went across the water to represent our country. Was wearing the USA, all of this stuff, and was going in there defending our country versus country after country after country after country, team after team after team. That's a big deal, right? That's why you from anywhere can really mess with LaMelo, right? Then you also got to understand that not only was he doing that, but we was over there in not like the most pristine circumstances and best gyms everywhere. The common people, anybody could have walked into them games. Even some of them shits was free. Come and just watch. So across the globe, you got people who really care about what he got going on. Then you think about what happened. I'm not even talking about all in Australia. I'm talking about the Lithuania situation. I'm talking about JBA USA. LaMelo at some point was the face of the teenage American kid in Europe, right? Then goes to Australia and carries that torch there. And when people talk about like that young player and what that looks like, they like, man, he was a good kid. He was not like anything. So I'm saying, just set the tone for that, right? That even what he did then transitioned the way that we as Americans think about teenage Americans in playing basketball in this country, which is why now you got the G League saying, you know what, let's let these kids be pro, right? Let's just let them do their thing because we already see it can work on another level. So you literally can have any pass you want to be a LaMelo fanboy. Here's the funny thing that you all can do. If you go to the internet, you type in LaMeloStan.com. If you get some free time, check that out. Do your research. New York, Detroit, Jersey, and on did not match up to Jordan. Do your research. New York, I don't know what you mean. Shout out to my man Ball Facts, man. Big Mike in the building, Ball Facts. I appreciate those super chats, man. I'm a man. God of Blackness. Appreciate it as well. Y'all supporting the culture, man, in the channel, man. So it's always big. Let me see where Big Mike spit. The guards Jordan played against were small. It wasn't until later they got bigger. Facts. Bro, this is why I did that video the other day with the Isaiah Thomas thing. I was listening to this clip, and Isaiah Thomas broke the shit down in a way that had me sitting here like, oh, whoa, wait a minute. Because people talk this big talk on Jordan, right? And even in that clip, they were saying like, oh, yeah, man, Jordan went up against Magic. He went up against such and such, the bad boy Pistons and all of that. And he was like, what? He ain't beat Larry Bird. He ain't beat the Lakers like that. He ain't really rock with us like we dog walk Jordan. He put the shit in context to me in a way that I hadn't heard anybody put it in context. And then when it got down to the ideal of the LeBron journey and playing against the 70 whatever and 9 Warriors and all of that stuff, like it's interesting playing in the era of wide open lane. I see, that's what I'm saying though. I don't know. I get what you're saying, right? It seems like you could just freight train your way to the basket, right? But here's the thing. If this was the era literally of the wide open lane, right? And obviously we see guys like Giannis be able to take advantage of that. We see LeBron be able to take advantage of that. There would be, all you would have to do is just be tall and big and you could just drive to the basket, right? And you would dominate. But there's a certain skill set that you have to have in order to be able to do that. In that era where we talking about where Jordan and stuff was, it wasn't an era, it wasn't a wide open era to the lane because folks would just foul you, right? Folks would just damn near flagrant foul you and then stop you from going. That to me doesn't mean that era was better, right? All I had to do is, if I'm playing football and all I have to do is give you a pass interference to stop you from catching it, that don't make me a better defender. That just means the referees is trash, you know what I'm saying? The rules is trash. I gotta get all corner shoes just to get a little space. Detroit beat the Bulls twice, 4-2, 4-1. The Bulls swept them and they never came back. Facts. A LaMelo star. Detroit beat the Bulls. All right, let me see. Let me see if I can find something real quick. Cause this one ain't supposed to be that long of a stream, but since we're here now, we will continue. Let me see if I can find this. Can the Hornets make the playoffs? There were like 3 defenders in the paint. Exactly. Because nobody was shooting 3 like that. Huge mistake you're making as a creator. All right, let me see. Oh, shoot. Shoot, we got 78 people. What's up? What's up? I'm gonna try to find, somebody mentioned this body language thing, and there was a video that I wanted to watch on here that let's see if I can find. See if I can find it. Shine bright like a diamond. All right. It's something we can all do. Let's see. Big Mike delivering scriptures right now. Oh, let me get on. Let me see what Big Mike's saying, man. Defenses were not that complex back then. That's why the triangle offense prevailed. It was complex for the primitive defenses. Dang, he preaching, yo. The book from Scientology. Book from Scientology. All right, let's see, man. Let's see what we got here. Shine bright like a diamond. Oh, I find that. Where that boy at? Where is that? Where's that? I'm gonna just search it. Shine bright like a diamond. Diamonds in the sky. Joel Embiid. Oh, that's only 15 seconds. Shine bright like a diamond. I don't even see it, man. I should have saved it. Ben Simmons. Let me see. How long we been on here, man? Diamonds in the sky. Highlights. There we go. Let's see. Diamonds in the sky. Shine bright like a diamond. All right, here we go. Oh, that's not it, man.
Straight line drive he got there. So there's some
coaching staff and just top to bottom.
Beautiful. Let's see. Here's this clip, man, I saw the other day. Let me see. All right. We having this defense. I'm almost at 500 subs. When we get that community tab, we having debates. Haha. Man, if you ain't here, man, go ahead and sub to my man, Nico Savage. You gotta get to that 1,000 sub mark, man. You gotta do that. I was at John Starr's first game in the Garden. I was at every game before the Knicks versus Miami game when they had a big fight. Nah, just no, but hell no. Defense was tougher back then because players wouldn't get a foul call unless they got their head damn near taken off. And nowadays, guys don't even try on defense. Here's what I'm saying. Like, this is the conversation that we were just having. The Matrix is not getting a foul call doesn't make you a good defender, right? The reason why people were fouling so hard is because they couldn't stop somebody on the other end, right? So they started fouling Jordan because regular defense wasn't working. So we can't guard you, so we just gonna foul you as hard as we can. And nowadays, you can't do that. They changed the rules to make it so you actually have to move your feet. You got to try to stay in front of somebody, and you got to play defense. And so when people say Michael Jordan would have scored that, it's probably true. He probably would have been an elite scorer in this ages of NBA. But that also means that a lot of these guys would have went to that era and then and shredded it. if they couldn't like hamburger you, you know what I mean, every time you came into the paint. They shoot open threes and drove sometimes. They weren't this unreal, can't score on the era players. It was just less talent and slower paced basketball. Facts. All right, so let me put this up here, and then we're gonna probably slide after this. Well, all right, so this clip that we about to play, man, I saw this a while back. It was the first game where James Harden and Joel Embiid played together, and it's just like the post game press conference, and it's so funny to me because you talk about the nonverbals, and you can watch them kind of mimicking and mirroring each other's behavior, which is obviously is a situation where you're comfortable with somebody, right? Y'all just start mimicking and mirroring each other's behavior, and that's what we see from here. So we'll watch this, and then we'll wrap this bad boy up.
Triple B's! AB the hero. Back at it, baby.
My fault. All right, here we go.
Winning, and tonight I think defensively we were really good, and that's what led to our offense being even.
Speaking of defense, like we was just talking about, James Harden right off the rip said they were defensively were really good.
And just top to bottom winning, and tonight I think defensively we were really good, and that's what led to our offense being even better.
What was the whole day like for you? Was it
Just a normal game day. Just getting my mind right to try to be the best player on the court.
You have routines now that help you kind of get into that.
No, I mean just do whatever it takes, man. Every single day to help my team be the best that we can be.
Joel was talking this morning about how you kind of got his.
All right, here's let me show you something. And I think part of what I'll be doing with this this body language series is just all of it's not about like you lying or it's deception or whatever, right? But you can see where you can tell when somebody's being deceptive or something is raising some like emotion or something from people based on like how they react. So like watch Joel Embiid's body language, and then when he hears somebody says Joel say, and then look at his eyes shoot over there.
What was the whole day like for you? Was it
Just a normal game day. Just getting my mind right to try to be the best player on the court.
You have routines now that help you kind of get into that.
No, I mean just do whatever it takes, man. Every single day to help my team.
Can you ask LeVar for the NBO 1 colorway schedule? I want those purple joints. Here's what I'll tell you. And a shout out to my man, God of Blackness, for the super chat. LeVar is the wrong person to ask. LeVar is Team BBB, right? All day, all night. 18 BBB. I'm sorry, over here. 18 BBB. That's LeVar. You know what I'm saying? This over here, that's not LeVar. He got nothing for you when it comes to that at all, right? 0%, right? This is LeVar. That's Melo. So yeah, he ain't the person to ask for that. But no, appreciate the super chat though, for sure. I did see them purple joints, and they're interesting for sure.
Be the best that we can be.
Joel was talking this morning about how.
I will ask. I've been DMing one of the guys from the Puma team, so I will see what that is though.
You kind of got this reputation as like this so-called bad teammate, but Joel was.
Why? I don't know why. That's for the media. The media say that. I feel like I'm one of the best teammates that the NBA has seen, on the court and off the court. Offense, being even better.
What was the whole day like for you? Was it
Just a normal game.
The slower pace narrative is false. The fastest pace was in the 70s, 80s. The pace was 107 points is now 99.
Game day. Just getting my mind right to try to be the best player on the court.
You have routines now that help you kind of
Diamonds in the
just
sky.
do whatever it takes, man, every single day to help my team be the best that we can be.
Joel was talking this morning about how you kind of got this reputation as like his so-called bad teammate, but Joel was
Why? I don't know why. That's for the media. The media say that. I feel like I'm
What
one
I
of the best
said?
teammates that
I don't
the
know, but
NBA's
we'll
seen
watch this some other
on
time,
the
man.
court
I
and
don't
off
watch
the
this
court.
now.
That's what I said this morning.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I said this morning.
But yeah, I mean, just because the current situations happen, whatever happened.
All right, let's see. Let me see, man. I feel like it's a strong debate on defense here happening in the chat. So I'm gonna see if I can upload this StreamYard link. Got a cool strong 10 minutes. Thought you say that, yeah. Diamonds in the sky. Shine bright like a diamond. Don't switch. Don't make me kill. Don't want body in here. Right here. I'm gonna shoot 3 shots. Somebody done. Hello. All right. Enter the studio. The studio. Oh, Teddy Payne. Oh, Teddy Payne. All right. Let me see, man. I'm gonna add the StreamYard link over here for a second if folks want to jump in here, and we can get that NBA defensive conversation. 90s had a high field goal percentage as now. Right, especially when 3-point added, but I gotta hit my goal. Blessings. Oh, Teddy Payne in the studio. All right, man. So I dropped the love this dissecting and Pfeiffer. Big Mike in the building. Blue fight. Sean Watson. I dropped the StreamYard link. Somebody want to join? We can rap for a bit over here. Then we'll slide up out of here. Let me turn this. Something gotta be wrong. Let me turn. That's what my. Oh, Teddy Payne. Jay. Hold on a second. We got Nico Savage in the building. Hello, Nico.
Yo, what's good with you, AB?
What's good, man? I'm good.
Hey, good morning to y'all, man. Shout out to the chat. Great conversation and a great stream, man.
I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. So, man, I seen y'all was in there. What I appreciate your take on the defensive debate. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel similar in the fact that I think that people give that older generation too much of a pass for being great defenders when it just looked like they fouling to me.
Well, I watched a lot of it recently, and I've been watching it because I've had the debates and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So the games are available on YouTube. People talk as if we can't physically still watch these games. And when I go watch it, I'm like, the hell am I looking at here? There's a lot of dudes standing around.
Yeah.
And when you come in the paint, they try to physically attack you.
Yeah.
That's not defense. And they get drove right by. That's why I was watching a lot of Michael Jordan too. And I just wanted to see what people really seen as the best in him. And of course, from what I seen, he's great, man. But a lot of those guards had slow feet. The big men didn't really have too much interior defense other than a hard foul. Um, and I was just looking at the modern era, and we go to last year, right, in the playoffs. LeBron James couldn't get anything on the inside, literally, because we had no shooters. So they forced nothing but 3-point jump shots. And we got blown out by 60 or something? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I was reading in the comments, I forgot who said it, but they said it's no defense today. And talking about the 80s and 90s is amazing. I don't get that. Like, from your opinion, because you've seen a lot of this, you've had the timetable to watch it yourself and to see where it's at now. What can you really tell people to pay attention to that can, wake up their minds? I don't know what they're not seeing, but we seem to understand it.
Yeah. I really don't know what I think, right, the conversation around defense now that I feel like it's so different is when people talk about being a defensive player now, they talk about intelligence. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be able to understand how to play defense. When you're a rookie, when they talk about being a rookie, and you might come into the league and then you might be skilled, but the hardest thing for most people to be able to pick up on and contribute to is the defensive end, right? Because it's so much more intentional nowadays. It's so much more shift and passing. You know what I mean? Like, you got to know where to be at, who to go check. I went and watched like those detailed videos. You ever watch those? It's like the Kobe Bryant, he had a series. Chris Paul, I think Vince Carter had a series of it. And
And Dennis
oftentimes
Rodman,
Dennis
Draymond.
Rod, yeah. And oftentimes they break up they're talking about like the play being ran on the offensive end, but in the midst of that, they're talking about how confusing it is to play that deep. You know what I mean? And I don't think that. I think somebody was talking about it in the chat. They're talking about the triangle offense and how that was so dominated because on the defensive side of the ball, they were just, you know what I mean, pretty much either manning up or some type of like light zone or whatever. It's not so much, it's not as intricate as it is. So that triangle offense seemed so complex that people couldn't figure it out for so long, right? And now you watch this damn detail and you see the different plays that they running in the screens and coming off and doing all of this stuff on the offensive end. It's extremely hard to play defense. And so I don't know. This is what I was saying earlier when you mentioned the thing about Kyrie. I think that in today's world, if Kyrie went back then and what they did to Michael Jordan, they would damn near kill Kyrie, man. He started crossing people up and making people look wild. You know what I mean? And the tempers
That's a
that they
fact.
play with, they'd be so pissed off at him.
But you hear what we say. The only defense is the resort to violence for them. You know what I'm saying? We're not
Yeah,
talking about somebody manning them up and really trying to take him out the game. They're gonna really take him out the game. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
it's not okay.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's the weird part, right? Is like you're getting whooped, so it's like, yo, all right, we got this. We know what we're gonna do with Michael. Instead of like drawing up a play or something to stop him, let's like with Giannis, they talk about building that wall. So you know what I mean? He can't get to the basket. We just gonna like literally just, you know what I mean, knock him off his feet before he touched the ground. That's the logic that they take, man. And I'm like you. I don't understand how people don't notice that, but it is what it is, man.
I do want to speak on the play style because this is something that people aren't taking into account. They a lot of people do concede and say basketball, of course, top to bottom is more talented. There's more moves. There's more things you can get away with. There's more ways to attack a defender. So it's only natural that defense has to improve. That's just what happens. Back then, a lot of guys were posting up. They were waiting for a pass or waiting for a dude to try to do a post spin or finding the big man, or he's passing out to an open three, or somebody just dribbling with one hand all the way down. And that's no offense. That's what it was at the time. But we would be ignorant to act like it hasn't improved on both sides of the ball now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That it just makes no sense. Somebody like Kyrie would Tony said that who has Klay Thompson shut down, right?
Tony
For
is in
Klay
here
Thom-
right now.
Yes,
sir.
For somebody like Klay Thompson to be able to stay in front of a defender the way that he does in this modern era is something that we know would not happen in the previous eras, because nobody had duffel bags like what we see from a Kyrie. Michael Jordan was the only one with a crazy duffel bag that exceeded everybody else, and you see what he did. And now, and I don't want to be disrespectful, please, older generation, understand this. A lot of the newer players have moves that are comparable to what Michael Jordan had. That's what they work on since being a baby. Dudes can dribble at the age of 2, 3, 4, 5 now, like we've never seen before. And that started 15, 20 years ago. They didn't start in the 80s and 90s. People wasn't hitting you with the hot sauce crossover on average. Nowadays, you can expect almost everybody to have a handle and be able to use both hands and be able to go both ways. So, of course, for somebody to be able to look at how to attack a offensive player on defense, it's way different now. They didn't have to worry about that back in the day. And push come to shove, they was going to knock you on your ass.
Facts. What's up, Tony?
I want to hear from Tony, though.
Yeah. And this is very difficult to sit through sometimes when you hear when you hear young people talk about basketball. But let me say this first. I love your profile, your channel, man. I've been following you since day one, man. Since you first started, I've been following you. But have you noticed that the greatest basketball players in today's era give the most respect to the vets? Have you noticed that? Have you noticed how much they say that they've studied the vets, those that came before them?
That's what you have to do.
Okay, so I want to ask, how many has actually been to a physical basketball game of one of the top players of today's era? Have you ever been to one of LeBron James' games?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Is it on a scale of 1 to 10? How does it compare to seeing him in person to actually watching him on television?
That's what I'm saying. In person, he's huge. Like you see him in person. For me, I like that's a couple years ago when they came and played the Pacers in the playoffs, and I went to the game and I got some like decent seats, and I thought to myself, I was like, damn, LeBron is a big dude. Like I don't
6'9", 270.
The reality is totally different when you see it in person than when you watch it on TV. Would you agree?
100%, I agree.
Okay, so you can't get a true perspective if you go on YouTube and watch a couple of games. You would actually have to have been there and watched the game. You follow what I'm saying? So this narrative about the offense and the defense is not true because the actual visual don't support it and the numbers don't support it. The fast, you talk about how fast the pace is today. So today's pace is not even in the top 20. The Michael Jordan's era, according to the statistics from the NBA, that era was the fastest era. It was ranked 107. Today's era is ranked like 98.5 in pace. So how do we explain it? How do we explain less steals today and less blocks? There's only 2 players that's ranked in blocks and steals. That's Chris Paul and Anthony Davis. So how do we explain the players today not ranked in the top steals? I'm talking about per game, not total, per game.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if AB want to attack that, I can. Well, for one, players now have a handle. You know, that really is impactful on whether somebody steals the ball from you or not. Back in the day where people had to literally post up to create offense, and they have to either pass out of that or try to make something from it. you don't have much to think about on defense when you're a good defender. It was good defenders then. Nobody's saying it was just complete trash. But those good defenders took advantage of what was happening. They got a lot of steals. And the
So
modern era. Okay,
why is
go
Chris
ahead.
Paul ranked in the top 10? Why is Chris Paul ranked in the top 10?
The way he plays defense is based around steals. He's a small guy. That's been his defensive game plan since coming in the league, which is trying to get a steal.
Right, but if you're saying that today's handle is much better, why is Chris Paul ranked in the top 10?
Chris Paul is a special player.
But see, I think what it is the steals today, right? So LaMelo averages a steal, whatever, a game. And I think on-ball defender, people are not saying like he's a great on-ball defender, but what guys today do more is they play the passing lanes, right? So the ball is shared a ton. So if you are a long, lanky guy, Chris Paul is not that, but you can get into the passing lanes, and I think that that's where most people get their steals from in today's NBA, whereas back in the day, what we're talking about was some of the different defensive tactics that you could use. You could be a more prominent on-ball defender and then maybe get some steals, poke things out. But because you could hand check, you could do all these other little small things as an on-ball defender that you can't get away with today.
Okay, but is that something you actually witnessed, or this is just a philosophy or theory?
I'm philosophizing right now. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
for sure.
That's what I'm saying. If you ever saw Michael Jordan play defense, it's a totally different world. It's a total different world. And it wasn't just his speed and his quickness and his jumping ability and his reflexes. It was his fundamentals.
Yeah.
And every player that respects history and every coach in his past said he had the highest fundamentals. So why is everybody saying it's because they were allowed to foul and put you on your behind, when you only rank 2 more fouls today than you did back then? I mean, than you do now.
See, I think for me,
were they calling fouls as frequently then as they do now?
Yes, about 2 more per game. See,
but I'm talking about for the certain things. That's what I'm getting at.
What I'm saying is, back then, the difference in fouling wasn't the fact that they fouled today and didn't foul then. They fouled you different. The only difference is a foul today is called a flagrant. Fouls back then, those fouls weren't called flagrants. We didn't have flagrants.
Hurting people, huh? All right.
No. Just like last night, if you watched the Bulls game last night, Jones jumped up and accidentally elbowed a guy in the head, and they called it a flagrant. It wasn't a deliberate elbow. He just jumped in the head, and his elbow hit his head. They say any contact above the head is a flagrant foul.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it wasn't the fact that the guys weren't fouling or were fouling more. It's just a hard foul was not called a flagrant.
Yeah.
I watched almost every Bulls game. I don't think I ever missed a Bulls game when Jordan played. Mm-hmm. And I went to many of his games. It's just a totally different world. It's the same type of game, but Jordan was a different type of player. Yeah. And he is not my all-time, he's not my GOAT, just so you know. So I have no favoritism toward Jordan.
That's good that you say that, because LeBron is way better than him.
But here, I want to say something. The thing that I feel like with this conversation, right, is, right, if you talk about, I think that nobody's disputing that what Jordan did in that era versus Jordan's game transcends all eras in most people's eyes, right? So like him, he is like an anomaly, right? Of it don't matter. I watched Jordan clips because same thing, right? A while back, we having this LeBron debate, and I was like, man, let me go watch some more Jordan, because I grew up in the Jordan time. But you realize, I'm a kid, so some of that you forget. Mm-hmm. I watched like a super cut of Jordan highlights, and I'm like, oh, I forgot how good this dude was. You know what I'm saying? Like he on something else, But I don't think that there is a ton of guys across that era who you feel like played at the caliber of Jordan on the offensive end and a defensive end, right?
I agree.
And so I think that that's where it becomes tough, is that if Jordan is we can't debate Jordan's quickness, his athleticism, his mental for the game, all of that, his preparation, everything that he had was elite and extends all generations. But if you pull the average guy, you know what I'm saying? That's why I think like the Klay Thompson thing is an interesting conversation, because Klay Thompson is a guy who people say is a great two-way player. Nobody's gonna say Klay Thompson is Michael Jordan. Nobody's gonna say Klay Thompson is Gary Payton on the defensive end. But for some, he is a interesting piece, because he's not the best defender in this area, not the greatest offensive player in this era. Probably is up there in the top, you know what I'm saying, 5 in the offensive side or whatever. But he's somebody who, it's interesting to think of what his game would have looked like back in that time period. And would he have had the success? Would he be somebody who is like considered a Jordan S level defender if he played back then?
Who, Klay?
Yeah.
I doubt it very seriously.
Why? I let Klay Thompson hand check.
Klay is more like a Reggie Miller. If you watch back, Reggie Miller was a good defender, a very good defender. But Klay
has Reggie ever slid his feet at the speed that Klay Thompson does and stays in front of defenders?
I can name probably 5 defenders that I would rank higher than Klay. I would put Draymond Green above Klay.
Yes, that's Draymond, who calls himself the greatest of all time.
Okay, I don't think he's the greatest, but I'll put him above Klay. I would put Kyrie above Klay.
Was
Kyrie Irving?
Kyrie? Oh, I don't know about that.
No, Kyrie.
Oh, Kawhi.
Oh, Kawhi.
Kawhi, yeah. Kawhi Leonard. Yeah.
I got you.
I would put him above Klay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't personally, just because Kawhi Leonard, his defense is based around. When I was typing in the chat, he can read dribble patterns. He's one of those guys to where he can pick your ball as soon as you're about to dribble it. He literally takes it right out your pattern. Klay Thompson is not a guy that looks to get steals on ball. He's somebody that mans up. He get hip to hip with you, and he'll contest your shot the entire way and give you nothing. Kawhi Leonard don't do that.
When we played, a great defender was considered a person that could take your top offensive player and put him below his average in scoring and shooting percentage. I have never seen Klay do that. I've seen Kyrie do that. I've seen Draymond Green do that. I've seen Lonzo do that. They would take out a top player, a top scorer. That's normally a player that averages over 22 points, and they would make him score under their average and shoot a lower shooting percentage. Lonzo, they say that the average guard only shoots 32% against him, according to the statistics.
Well, Klay Thompson plays. Well, the thing is, if you really want to go into Klay Thompson's regular season stats, that's something different. But in the playoffs, he's typically playing some of the best we've ever seen do it. Most of the times, he's been matched up against Damian Lillard, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving. That's been his road to the playoffs for years, for at least 7 years.
I would rank him up there, but I wouldn't rank him above Kyrie and Draymond Green.
I mean, I guess I just don't rate Kawhi like that because I seen Klay Thompson busting his ass before he got his leg destroyed.
All right. But see, most people don't realize that Jordan did the same thing. He destroyed his ankle and his ACL. Not his ACL, but his, what do they call it in the knee? Meniscus.
Okay. I mean, well, are you saying he played through that?
40 Yes, I seen him at 40 shut down Paul Pierce and Stackhouse, who was averaging 22 points at the time. I've seen him do it at 40 with a torn meniscus.
Hey,
his first year that he came back, he had a torn meniscus.
I'm trying to figure out where that defense was where Kobe put 55 on him.
That's when he was 40. That was the right. That's when he was 40. How many? What did Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the top player they say is Kareem? What did Kareem average at 40?
I mean, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I don't look. Kareem was washed for like the last 3-4 years of his career.
Okay, but what did Jordan average? What did Jordan average at 40?
I don't know. I'd have to pull up his stats.
He averaged 22. He averaged 22 at 40.
If I check it, he probably took 30 shots a game.
No, he didn't. Jordan scored 40. He's the only player at 40 years old to score 40 points. At 40.
All right, well, we got a couple more years till LeBron get his chance.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Not a lot of dudes play at 40, man.
Yeah.
He wasn't. You said a lot of guys?
Not a lot of guys play at 40.
Right. So he is not my GOAT, but the things that they say is a false narrative. Like you was mentioning this Isaiah Thomas narrative. Isaiah Thomas is not telling the truth.
Oh man, he was 38.
Who?
Come on now. Bron is already Michael Jordan.
He was 38 when?
Washington, 38, and then next year 39. He didn't even get to 40.
Yes,
he
did
Bron already on pace.
Bron
on pace.
Google it.
I'm looking at it. I'm on Basketball Reference right now.
Wait a minute. Google the only player to score 40 at 40. Look it up.
Why are they lying then? He was 39 in his last season.
No, that's when he started the season at 39.
Yeah, it probably turned. I can see that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He scored 40 at 40.
Still Bron on pace to pass him for sure.
In what?
The scoring 40 at 40.
I mean, LeBron is great.
And look, I don't want to turn it into LeBron versus Jordan, but I'm just saying, because people, when they speak about Jordan, like that level of greatness, especially during that time, like nobody's going to dispute what Jordan brought to basketball.
Right.
Literally, he created the modern era. Everything we see now is because of Michael Jordan.
Right.
Some of our GOATs and favorites, Kobe Bryant, is literally only an existing thing because of Michael Jordan.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I give him his credit for being what he is. But what I also talk about is nobody else was Michael Jordan.
Yes.
Right now, we got so many dudes that, like, when I watch Giannis play the Lakers, I'm like, oh, shit. He beating the fuck out of LeBron.
What do you mean when you
beating
say
Anthony
nobody?
Davis' ass.
What do you mean when you say nobody else was Michael Jordan? What does that mean?
He was leagues ahead of everybody else in his ability, athleticism, commitment, dedication, everything that comes with basketball. He was miles ahead of everybody else.
Right.
So that's what I go with that era for. A lot of those dudes was not committed like him.
No.
Now that we have many stars committed, like.
So you say it's some players like Michael Jordan today?
Yes.
Like who?
LeBron James, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
How?
Well, what I'm saying is that their competition that they go against, they dominate. They do things we've never seen before. They're dedicated to the game. They're outstanding men on and on.
Wait. I'm asking what did he do that's different than what other players have done?
Well, the thing is, what I'm saying is the level of talent that Jordan was showcasing at the time was only Michael Jordan.
That's not true. That's not true. That's not true.
But who was comparable, really?
Clyde Drexler was.
My bad. I'll let you go.
I will say no. I think
Clyde Drexler.
Go check his stats.
If you go back and you watch some of that stuff, like I go back and I watch some Larry Bird clips, and I was shocked. I was like, wait a minute, Larry was doing this. Larry was out here, like you talk about Michael being like the Renaissance man of this modern era. And Larry's flash with the ball and dribbling and handling and all of that stuff was on par with some of these guys we see today. I don't
absolutely
he get credit for being a shooter and doing some stuff, but I was watching some Larry stuff. I was like, hold on a second, I did not know Larry had a bag like this. You know what I'm saying? So
Larry averaged 24 and 10 for his career.
Yeah, and he was like saucy with it. You know what I'm saying? Which is
right.
what made him. And I don't think that people realize how saucy Larry Bird had. You know what I mean? And like in the Isaiah Thomas thing, where I give him credit for is he talked about, Mike went off on Larry and scored whatever amount of points, but he couldn't get past that squad. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't. There's certain achievements that Mike didn't have. That's
Mike a false narrative, man. Mm-hmm. Isaiah gave a false narrative, but go ahead.
I don't know. So it's possible. I think it's just an interesting take because I feel like there were guys who in that time frame who were like ultra talented, right? It just seemed like the cream was like all the way at the top of the league at that point. And then once you got Magic out of there, obviously he left a little bit early. Isaiah was gone. Um, Kareem, all of those guys, Dr. J, once they was gone, it just seemed like the next 10 years was Mike's league. And before that, it was like my man Nico was talking about. There's a bunch of stars, a bunch of guys going head to head to competition. You don't know who's going to win the championship this year, right? Before Mike went on his run, you didn't know who was going to win. It was either going to be Boston, it could have been the Celtics, could have been the Pistons. You know what I mean? It was things was a little bit seemed like there was a bit more of a toss up.
This is where we get mixed up. See, that's just like comparing. That's just like comparing LeBron now and saying that he never beat Shaq. Shaq is like 7 years older than LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
Bird was like 7 years older than Jordan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's saying he never beat Bird. Bird was the one that was actually old. He started college late.
Mm-hmm.
He came in the league late. Most of the guys come in the league at like 22. I think Bird came in, he was like 24.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Bird was way ahead of Jordan.
Yeah.
That's why he wasn't able to beat Bird.
But this is what I'm saying. Like Tim Duncan, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
It would be something, right, to be like, if LeBron was like, and we could say LeBron never beat Duncan. You know what I'm saying? Like that would be something to say. Like LeBron never got over Duncan, and Duncan retired but LeBron in the midst of that went head to head with him and got him once. You know what I'm saying? So it's you can't say that. I think I get what you're saying. Bird was older, but Bird, I don't know. Bird retired without they went head to head a decent amount of times.
Can I ask y'all something?
They didn't though. You got Bird was born in 56, and Jordan was like 9 years younger than him.
Mm-hmm.
It's like two different eras.
Yeah.
But Isaiah is trying to act like that's the same era. It's not. Isaiah got more because he was 2 years older than Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
They played in different eras. Bird played in the Dr. J era, the Dr. J and the Magic era, and the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar era. You see, that's what Isaiah is not telling you. But when Jordan was a senior in college, he beat an all-star team with Magic, Bird, Isaiah, and all of them put together.
Mm-hmm.
When he was a senior in college, or junior in college, I'm sorry.
Well, look, I do want to ask y'all this, because I've been noticing a lot. When someone from these eras or somebody with notoriety speaks on these eras, is always like a misconstrued narrative, is what I'm getting at right now. Like they always come at it saying that, oh, somebody's putting out false information when they share their opinion on what's happening. For example, Scottie Pippen, right? So when Scottie Pippen starts sharing his opinion, now Scottie Pippen, it's time to burn him down just because he's opposing what everybody's been fed for years. When he says something like Michael Jordan ruined the game of basketball, I like to figure out why he thought that, or why he said that.
He said what? What did he say?
He said Michael Jordan ruined the game of basketball.
Okay.
Who said that?
And Scottie Pippen.
Okay.
And I went into why he thought that way. You know why? Because Michael Jordan is a 30-shot taking kind of guy. Scottie Pippen wasn't that kind of guy. He wanted to move the basketball, take open shots, and get wins as a team. Michael Jordan made sure you knew he was the reason they were winning whenever he played. And I'm pretty sure that rubbed Scottie the wrong way for a very long time. And now that he's speaking out about it, now something's wrong with Scottie Pippen, or he's salty. You know what I'm saying? Isaiah Thomas keeps it honest. Now Isaiah Thomas is giving a misconstrued narrative.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Why is that?
Because Pippen is not telling the truth.
Oh,
shit. No, listen, it's okay to have an opinion, but I'm from Chicago. I remember when Scottie Pippen came to the league. Scottie Pippen was not a starter. Scottie Pippen was playing behind Brad Sellers, who's a 7'1" shooting forward, and Pippen couldn't break the starting lineup. Pippen didn't really break the starting lineup until he came in 2 summers later, after Michael Jordan took him under his wing and had him playing during the summer league. I used to go to the summer leagues. Pippen couldn't break the starting lineup. You see what I'm saying? Behind a guy that was averaging like 7 points a game.
I mean,
you see what I'm saying? Okay,
he started the playoffs that his rookie season.
No, sir, he did not. If you remember the shots,
10 games played, 6 games started.
When Jordan hit that shot against the Cleveland Cavaliers, that big shot they always show when he jumped to the top of the key and double pump it and shoot it. Mm-hmm. If you look at that tape, Pippen wasn't even in the game. It was Brad Sellers.
I'm looking at it right now. He played in 10 and started 6 of them. Okay,
but I'm saying he wasn't a starter.
I mean, he started 6 games out of 10.
But it's 82 games, man.
Well, I'm talking about in the playoffs. No, he didn't start any game his rookie season. What I'm saying, look, I understand that. Look, Scottie Pippen, I ain't saying there's no Michael Jordan. It took him a little time. But once he got it, he got it. But he did start primarily in the playoffs, and into the next season, he started a majority of his games.
Okay.
And then, as you said, after that it was him.
But Pippen wasn't that type of player when he came to the league, man. Believe me what I'm telling you. I remember him clearly. He was playing under Brad Sellers.
I think that's from that Last Chance doc, right? That was kind of the story with Pip, though. Like he came into the league as a pretty raw player, right? Like even them drafting him when they did was everybody was like, oh damn, who is this Scottie Pippen kid? You know what I mean? Like, so it's not like, you know what I'm saying? It's understandable to see that, like, when he first got into the league, he needed some time to develop and then kind of become the player that he became. I do see. It's interesting though, because I think the part of what Isaiah Thomas was saying in that video that I think is similar to what you saying, Tony, is he was saying, like, I was there during the time. I played against them. I know what it was like to go up against Magic, Bird, and Michael and all of that stuff. And he gave MJ a lot of credit for being like a super, like a transcendent player and all of that stuff. And I think there's a point where he talks about the year that they lost to Bird, right? Because they lost to I think they got swept by the Celtics, was also the year that Jordan won the MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. So, in essence, it's prime Jordan.
No, sir. It's not true.
I'm saying at that moment, folks were looking at it like, yo, he's in his prime. History tells us that later on, he went on to win 6 championships, and it's debatable of when he was actually his best. But he wasn't no slouch, you know what I mean, at that time. Is where I think that the argument comes from. Isaiah Thomas is like, Jordan in the 80s was probably younger than everybody, but Jordan in the 80s was also receiving a lot of accolades, and people was giving him the, you know what I mean, they was calling him Black Jesus way back yonder.
No, see, that's not true. That year that he scored against when he played against Boston and scored the 63-point, that was his injury year. Mm-hmm. He only played like 17 games. He played like the last 10 games and then played in the playoffs. He came off with a broken ankle. So that's not true.
Okay.
He wasn't at his peak. He was playing with a broken ankle. And he came off the injury, played the last 10 games, went to the playoffs and scored 63 points.
Yeah.
So he wasn't at his peak at that time. He didn't reach his peak until like a couple of years later when he scored like 37 a game.
Yeah.
I think that year he averaged 22, I think.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. In that moment, I feel like people, if you were watching that, you thinking like, oh shit, he got to be in his prime, right? Historically, we would look back at it and be like, oh, that was just the beginning, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, no, I think what you're saying. That he could have been fudging the numbers for sure.
Yeah, he was only averaging 22 points that year because he only played like 17 games. So Isaiah, if you have to go back to the old tapes when Isaiah was talking about Jordan. See, Isaiah had the same disposition that Bobby Knight had about Jordan, because him and Bobby Knight was tight, because he played for Bobby Knight, and Bobby Knight said that he was the greatest thing to ever put on a pair of sneakers that he had ever seen, and Isaiah said the same thing back in the 80s.
Yeah.
But now all of a sudden he changed his disposition. I wonder why.
So according
I can
to
tell
him,
you why.
Yeah,
I'm
according to
sorry.
him, it's LeBron. So he was saying like
Thank you.
Jordan was the best thing that I ever seen, and then LeBron came and he like, oh, actually, no, he's not.
But this
6'9", 270.
But there was plenty of players like that back then.
Shit.
Not doing what LeBron do though.
Yeah. Shit.
Okay, hold up, bro. Hold up. Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you know who Spencer Hayward is? Now, if you know basketball, you should know Spencer Hayward. He's a critical part of basketball. Do you know who Spencer Hayward is?
The name sounds familiar. I can say that.
You see, this is what I'm saying. If it wasn't for Spencer Hayward, it wouldn't be a Jordan. I mean, a LeBron. Spencer Hayward is. Listen to what I'm saying. Spencer Hayward is the person that went to the government and opened up the hardship rule so high school players could come to the NBA. Spencer Hayward averaged like 30 points a game for like 4 or 5 years. He is the one that opened up the hardship rule. And you had to prove that you were in poverty because he worked on a plantation picking cotton. And he took his case to the government and he won the case. Now, if you saw Spencer Hayward play, you wouldn't say that. You see what I'm saying?
I would say this. I'm sorry. I mean, look, I respect what people have done before me, but I'm also not blinded by their accolades. When you just put on some raw film of LeBron James, you know it's probably been 2 humans in the past 1,000 years that can do what he's doing at that size, weight, and this long, and look like this still. This man is a walking Adonis, and we sitting here trying to compare, and no disrespect, Spencer Hayward to LeBron James.
Okay, let me say this, man.
Maybe if he was born in this era, had the technology and whatnot, and wasn't playing in Converse, you know what I'm saying? It'd be different.
Okay, let me say this. Let me tell you what my view of LeBron is. When I first saw LeBron, he was 17 years old in Chicago. He used to come to Chicago and play downtown at Chicago Circle. Okay? When I first seen him, I said he's going to be the greatest player that ever played. Okay? He is the first player I ever seen going through the legs and dunk the ball in a game. Okay? So when I first saw him, I said he was going to be the greatest. But as I have watched his career, I can't put him in that position. But that was my position in the beginning. Follow what I'm saying? Okay.
So what made you unable to put him in that position?
Because I've watched what he's accomplished, not his accolades. Accolades means your awards that they give you, the honors that they give you. I'm not talking about honors and awards. I'm talking about his statistical output on the court. That's what I'm saying. Watching his statistical output and comparing it to other players, he can't be the GOAT.
If you're talking about statistics, he's been the GOAT. Yeah. If you go off just statistics.
Yes.
This man's number 2 scoring all time with 10,000 assists and 10,000 boards.
But listen, man, it was illegal to come to the NBA at 18 like LeBron did. That was illegal. You had to be 4 years out of school.
Yeah.
That's what the law was.
So you want me to erase like 3 years that we were in college or something? Or like a year and a half or something?
You had to be 4 years out of school. You had to be 4 years out of high school to go to the NBA.
I see where you're going with that now.
Okay, so you can't do career stats because it was illegal to come in the NBA until like the late 80s. They ain't really opened it up until the late 80s.
Oh man, God of Blackness, appreciate it, my guy. But here, and he said earlier, Kyrie Irving and Ross Strickland, that's like his goddad or something. But here, here's what I say, man, because I agree with I see what you're saying, right? You're saying like LeBron got into the league earlier, the longevity of his career, all of that stuff, and I think it makes sense, right? However, there's still like a bit of what he's done that like can't be duplicated. You know what I'm saying? Like, and what makes him even more interesting is that let's say a Michael Jordan, right? Who most people across the board would say Michael Jordan is the guy, right? He's one or two. He's either the GOAT or like right there outside of it. But I don't think that most people at that time were thinking like, damn, if Mike would have just been able to come out of high school, he would have wrecked shop in the NBA. Right. So
that's what they said.
That was said. I in when Mike was going to UCLA, I'm sorry, not UCLA, UNC. And obviously I wasn't around during that. I was around, but I wasn't like in tune with things in that at that time. But I don't remember hearing people talk about it in the context of like Mike should be going pro. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I felt like, to me, I feel like what I hear or remember from it, not remember, but from what I'm hearing is that the years in college, Mike grew up in those moments, and he wanted to stay in college longer. And they was like, Mike, you wasting time, bro. Get up out of here. But so I'm saying like a LeBron where folks straight from the gate was like, yo, this dude going to the league, and day one in the league, they like, yo, you got the future to do the thing. I think that Mike earned that a little bit more after going to college and having a bit of a career and then going to the league and then earning that, where, like you say, even you watched LeBron once or twice and was like, yo, he gonna be the greatest player ever. You know what I'm saying? I think that there's a difference, but I don't know. I might be wrong.
So why you're not calculating the fact that it was illegal? Why would people be thinking like that if it was illegal for Jordan to come in the NBA? When he was a freshman, it was illegal. He couldn't go because his father had a good job.
Mm-hmm. What I'm saying, so that's what I mean. Like, if that's the thing, if that was the take where people was watching him in high school and saying, yo, you're so good, bro. We wish you could go to the league right now. I guess that's the thing. Like, I don't remember ever hearing people talk about it in the context of like, man, he was good enough right away to go do that. I hear people saying like, yo, we played against him once or twice here, and then all of a sudden he took off and became Michael Jordan.
Bro,
well, he's still developing his game, AB. That's the truth to it.
Yeah. No, I was a baller, brother, and I used to be on the baller circuit. Okay. Back then, in the early 80s, there were two players on the scene that everybody was raving over. Yeah. And this was in high school. And that was Michael Jordan and Lynn.
Shit, was that me that cut out?
Nah, that's him.
Okay. I said it was getting good. Yeah. I guess until he come back, I'll just pick up and say, I understand where you're coming from with that, AB. I think I'm not gonna fault LeBron James for coming out of high school though.
Yeah.
Like my thing is, if he was ready to do it and had the ability to do it, why not?
Exactly.
And that's not to knock where Michael Jordan was. Like, let's be real. If everybody dribble with one hand, he better be the top dude in the nation. You know what I'm saying? Like, LeBron came up in a time where Kobe Bryant was in the universe. T-Mac, D-Wade, everybody, that top 75 list was a lot of LeBron class, which is the crazy thing. And people don't talk about this enough. They talk about 6 finals losses. Do you know who LeBron had to play? First off, he's drafted by the Cavaliers, one of the worst franchises. They were the Hornets. You know what I'm saying? One of the worst franchises, have no clue what to really do with a superstar. They didn't surround him with no type of talent. Thank God Kyrie was there. You know what I'm saying? When he came back, or it would have been no reason to come back. They did nothing. They didn't draft him a Scottie Pippen. You know what I'm saying? Nobody in that Cavs organization committed to LeBron James to say, this is going to be our Michael Jordan. We got to find a Scottie and make sure he get every ring in the book. They was just letting him carry bums to the finals. So fortunately, he comes back to Cleveland. we're gonna skip right past the Miami years because let's just be real. The Warriors is the greatest test for probably any basketball team ever.
Yeah.
When you got two dudes who are considered the greatest shooters of all time, 1 and 2, and then at any given night that order can switch. That's crazy.
Yeah.
For people to not give LeBron James some sort of, not necessarily leeway, but understanding into the type of matchup. And I'm glad I watched your Isaiah video. I haven't said that, but I watched it. And I was watching you go over the body language and, talking about the tongue hanging out and this and that. When he starts to talk about his era and the things that he was doing at that time, it's because he understands what he's watching now didn't exist then. And he can be honest about that. A lot of these dudes can't be honest about that. And it's not a knock to say that. That's why I told people they're denying evolution. This is only a part of our natural existence. People are gonna get better. We can't keep talking about Jordan in the 80s is better than what we see now. Dudes who can hit you with the in between the legs, sham god, reverse step back 3 from 37 feet.
Euro step. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And it's not to offend you. We just have to be honest about the duffel bags. The duffel bag that Michael Jordan seen and expounded on is what has been continuing to happen since. That's life.
Yeah.
But we do have dudes stuck in the era. So I don't, shout out to Tony. Very intelligent. I ain't gonna front. He was giving me coffee vibes. You know what I'm saying? But he's very intelligent. Everything he's talking about is not wrong. You know what I'm saying? But it's also without adding the fact that people have improved the way that they go about basketball and play basketball as a whole.
Yeah.
People get paid. It's no more dudes with side jobs. It's no more dudes with, for lack of words, consistently on snow and doing other things. Extracurriculars. It's a lot more dedication to basketball, top to bottom now.
And I think too, here's the thing, because I said some of my studio said Jordan can't Euro step. It's a question mark. That's not what I'm saying. I don't mean and I don't think this is what you're saying is. I think that when people think about those errors, they accumulate it all to Michael Jordan. And they make it seem like what Michael Jordan did was consistently replicated across that era by everybody. Right. And I think that when you are defending one point with the one person, the one anomaly, you know what I mean? Like it don't hold up. That's my only thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like what you're talking about. When you talk about the handle and the back, you're not saying like there's one guy in this league who nobody in that era could guard. There's a ton of guys who could go down there and get buckets. You know what I'm saying? Jordan Clarkson, who is a 6-man candidate, got handles that would stress defenders out in the 80s, 90s. You know what I'm saying? Kyrie, who was probably the best ball handler, would stress people out. Steph, who was a shooter, would stress people out. You know what I'm saying? Like Malik Monk would go there and then give people fits. You know what I mean?
I don't want to say it. Don't make me send Cam Thomas back there.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's a list of guys who could go back there and start
and
dribbling.
We didn't even have to touch Kevin Durant.
And that's what I'm saying. And you don't even got to go to the elites. You could.
That's
just
what I'm
go
saying.
down.
We don't even have to touch him.
Whereas when people talk about the era, like you rarely get, like he was just about to bring up Len Bias and Michael Jordan. You rarely get people who say, man, what about you know what I mean? Like people discredit the Clyde Drexlers and the such and such, and that's why Scottie Pippen be so upset, is because they don't even give him his just due for being a really good player in that time frame. But like you could go down the list if it's just about skill set, if it's just about certain things you do really well. Man, there's so many guys from this era who like can hoop, and we go back 10, 20 years, we go back to Jordan's time, and everybody's just like, man, Michael, what about Michael though? What about Mike? You can't, and I think that's what I see the issue is. You got a Kawhi Leonard, you know what I'm saying? The claw, defense to offense. Like we said, Klay Thompson, defense to offense. You just got a lot of guys like
Don't
that.
make me send Paul George.
Paul George, you know what I mean? 6'10" is is going cross, shoot the three, defense off, all of that stuff, man. It's like it ain't a lot of those out here, and there's a lot of them in this era.
And I'm glad you're saying that, because I didn't come at it with that perspective of a lot of the hype of the era gets contributed to Michael Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
They go straight to Jordan. If we talk about anything now, it's almost like we can go with a stream of whoever. It's like you can just pick a lane and we're gonna have a conversation about who can potentially be the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? And it's just based off of divine ability. You know, people. Let's just say I think somebody used to. It was some dude. It was like almost Kevin Durant hype back in the day in the '90s, but I think he was on the Bulls too. But either way, they didn't put the work that they put into Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant started hooping at it as a young man. Shout out to his mom. She knew that he was going to be a monster since being an early teen, preteen. A lot of people didn't get that back in the day. They wanted you to go get jobs, do this and that. They didn't get that kind of that care put into their craft from an early age. And that's out of the circumstances. But that's not a knock. You know what I'm saying? That's why we also have to keep it real about what we see now. Michael Jordan, I'm gonna give him his credit, man. He's yeah, we gotta give him his credit because he's gonna get but this is what Scottie Pippen hate. Like Scottie Pippen gonna hear you talk about Michael Jordan credit and he gonna be like, shit, without me, that's not possible. There's no such thing as everything we see with Michael Jordan without Scottie Pippen. But Michael Jordan definitely he changed the game of basketball offensively, defensively, mentally, money wise, you know, he did everything, man. But now we have a bunch of dudes with that Michael Jordan dedication to the game of basketball. You don't even see Giannis unless he's playing basketball. He either working out or getting ready to hoop. That's it. Or being a father.
Let me say this real quick. I'm not
welcome back, by the way.
All right, I appreciate it. I've been waiting to listen to you guys. Y'all been driving. But I'm not one to say that the players today couldn't play back then. Most of the starters today could play back then, and most of the all-stars today would be all-stars back then. I'm not saying that. What I'm coming from is a person that has witnessed both eras. I've been watching basketball for over 50 years, and I've seen all the players just about that everybody could put in their top 75. All I'm saying is Jordan was different, but he is not my GOAT. What I'm saying to you is that what they say about Jordan, like the statement you just made about players playing in having Walmart jobs or whatever type of jobs you said. Who for instance? See, these are false narratives that people put out to try to justify their position. But who worked a regular job and played in the NBA that was a star? Are you there?
Let me go ahead and Google it for you.
Yeah, Google it for me.
Hey, give me a second.
Because that didn't exist. The stars did not have other jobs. You got just like players today that have other jobs. That, you know, up and down in the G League and have to go out and work and do that type of thing. But the stars back in the day didn't have regular jobs, man.
Well, I mean, of course, that's just that's a jokey joke there. Didn't have the basketball craft that exists with Michael Jordan or anybody else. It was just a lot of dudes who had ability or size and ability. But the craft of basketball wasn't quite there. I'll go down to starters. I'll go get starting fives throughout the whole league.
Right. See, this people say this stuff, like you mentioned this thing about Scottie Pippen. Do you know that out of the top 10 lowest supporting cast, that means the team scored the least amount of points, Michael Jordan had 5 of them?
Well, yeah, he take all the shots.
He didn't average more shots than Kobe Bryant. Jordan averaged 22 shots a game.
Well, that's a bad example Kobe Bryant take all the fucking shots.
Okay, how many does Harden average? Harden averaged about 20 some shots a game.
I mean,
right?
when he averaged, 35, 36 he did, but he's not doing that too much these days.
When Harden was the starter of the team, he averaged about 25 shots a game when he was the leading scorer of the team. When he averaged at 36, he was shooting 24 shots a game.
Yes, while begging for help.
Right, but all of the top scorers normally average about 20 shots a game. All of the top scorers do that.
You know what?
Scottie Pippen was not.
I went ahead and slid to James Harden right now. 3 years.
Okay.
He's averaged over 20 shots. Only for 3 years.
Okay. What about Kevin Durant?
Oh, we know he don't take 20 shots. KD, come on.
He's shooting 20 shots this year. Kevin Durant is shooting 20 shots per game for this year.
That's because they trash.
Yeah, I'll say you could be talking about this season.
That's when he was with Russell Westbrook, he was shooting 20 shots a game.
Nope.
Yes, sir.
Michael Jordan
yes,
at a different level. I just pulled up KD right now. 3 years
when he was with OKC, he averaged 20 shots a game.
I'm here. Okay. 3 years in his career, he's averaged 20 shots.
Oh. How many did
2010?
How many did he average?
2000. I got you. Hold on, I got you. I'm gonna name all years. 2009, 2010, 20 field goals attempted. That's OKC.
They on the way.
Okay.
2013, 2014, 20.8 field goals attempted. And then this year.
What about 10 and 11?
10 and 11 was 19.
19.7.
Yeah, that's 19. Michael Jordan is over 20. Ain't no such thing as 19 point nothing with Jordan.
Listen, Jordan averaged 22 shots a game, man.
Exactly. This man putting that ball up.
Shooting that thing.
Look. How many?
The funny thing about obviously with the averages is if you averaging 22, that mean on some nights you taking 30. You know what I'm saying?
He used to get fouled so much. AB, come on, this man taking 39 shots.
Yeah.
How many shots did DeMar DeRozan average in this year?
Yeah, DeMar is a high volume.
He's a shot chunker. Come on, you naming some real shot chunkers right now.
No, we're talking about scores. That's what we're talking about.
I think if you look at guys like Iverson probably, I wouldn't be surprised if he had 25 shots a game. You know what I'm saying?
All the scorers average about 20 shots a game.
And this is in reference to having a starting five with the least amount of scoring, right?
What I'm saying to you is he had five of his championships teams were the lowest scoring outputs in the history of the game. Scottie Pippen only averaged 20 points like once or twice.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier.
Even without Jordan.
That's because he plays the game the right way. Scottie Pippen moves the basketball. Michael Jordan, you better move the ball to him.
You ever seen Scottie Pippen play?
Yes.
Okay. You saying that he was moving the basketball?
Yes, he's a point forward.
No, sir. No, Scott, bro. That's not true, bro. That's not true.
He's not a point forward?
Listen, Scottie Pippen used to shoot like 45% per game. Jordan was shooting 50% per game. He was shooting 40 and 45% per game.
Hey, y'all, I hate to do this, man. We're having a great conversation, but we gotta shut this bad boy down for today. I gotta go.
Okay, yes, sir, man. I enjoyed it, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
This
was a great stream. This is fun. Appreciate you, man, Tony,
yes,
man.
Sir. I'm gonna support you, man. I appreciate you.
For sure, man. You got a channel, Tony, or do you create content?
No, sir. I'm thinking about starting a sports history channel, man, because everybody always gets mixed up on the history, man.
You should do it, man.
You know, yeah.
Better stop playing. Scotty averaged like 7 assists.
Yeah, I just short of Jordan. Right. But I enjoy watching you and Ball Facts, man. Y'all but the two favorite channels, man. I've been watching y'all since you first started.
Straight up, man. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Okay, then, man. Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, you already know AB. Much love.
All right, nice talking to you.
Having me on.
Oh yeah, appreciate y'all coming.
And same with you, Tony.
Okay then.
Yep.
All right, peace.
And, If y'all ain't here, y'all check out Nico channel, man. Go ahead and hit that sub button over there as well, man. Show him some love, man. I appreciate all y'all tapping in and especially y'all two joining the panel and talking all of that jazz. So good conversation. I might have to like chop this because the original video was about the Hayward Melo thing, so I might have to make this its own video, whatever. This back into that conversation. But man, I appreciate everybody tapping in, man. See this, man. I'm gonna go ahead and end this bad boy. I gotta go. I gotta go clean the basement this morning. But that's it. You got anything else you want to drop off?
Man.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I'll just say, just to touch on the topic again. Ain't no way on this planet Earth, in this existing universe that we have, that Gordon Hayward is better than LaMelo Ball. I don't know what Mitch might have been sipping, but he was doing something. He definitely was coming from some type of, maybe it was the DMT, but it's not happening in this current plane of existence. LaMelo Ball will be a superstar, already is a superstar. Gordon Hayward has never been that and has never been better than LaMelo Ball. I'm taking Chino Hills LaMelo over Gordon Hayward, respectfully.
I dig that, man. I dig it. No, I'm with you. I don't see it either. I think that, like I was saying earlier, I think he must have, you know what I mean. It must be strategic, you know what I'm saying? Like he must have knew that, you know what I mean, he got to say that because he's trying to keep the value up. Or else I don't know what he was doing, man. You're right. It must be the DMT or something. But all right though, man. Make sure y'all go sub to my man Nico channel. You know what I'm saying? He got to get that. You say you almost at 500?
Yeah. And I appreciate that plug, man. You know, I ain't gonna front. I need you to understand. I'm still a regular dude, but I'm trying.
Yeah, straight up, man.
I appreciate it.
For sure. But yeah. All right, man. I'm gonna get up out of here. It's your main man, AB the Hero, man. We finna duck off here. We out. Peace.
Hero. No, not peace. Plus one. Triple B's. We out.